Hello everyone, welcome back to Fossils and Archaeology. You've caught me hard at work researching for today's creature in my brand new extinct research lab. I really like how this build has turned out. I've already done some work on making sure that I have stocked all the DNA and fossils plants and the skulls inside of here. Done already, moved that. The Failuresaurus, who hates me oh so much, is still alive in there, and the culture vats have worked perfectly so far. I have also done a little bit of work outside of the research lab and have added in the pathway leading down to over there. I've also taken that path and extended it along here leading back to the Postsuchus, which I really like. But you probably saw the subject of today's episode while I was doing a little flyby there. I have obviously laid out some bright red and bright blue in this area of the park because I want to start working on some of these swampy areas. We've already gotten a little preview of the forest, and we've already gotten some of the plains work in, but I think the swamp also needs a little bit of love. So today, I am going to be working on building a Sarcosuchus enclosure. I felt like this was an appropriate spot for them, considering how close we are to other Suchian creatures in the Postsuchus. I felt like the tropical environment here could translate well to the tropical swampy environment here with the Postsuchus. Obviously, you can see I've laid out with the concrete where I want the barrier to go in the red. And then in the blue, I think is where I'm going to be putting some rocks, extending maybe some cliff faces over here. And then obviously taking this cliff face and just fully turning it into a cliff face, putting stone and cobblestone and tuff and all that along here to kind of just cement this as a cliff face. Obviously, I'm going to need to put some barriers up here to prevent people from just, oh, I want to go see the crocodiles. Bad idea. So I need to put some barriers up here. I need to convert some of the terrain here, which I think is what I'm going to do first. So I'm going to get started on converting the terrain, maybe putting in some of the fence line, and I'll be back with you real soon. All right, I think I've gotten a lot of my terrain preliminary work done. I have added in some of the boulders that I lined out with the concrete and transitioned this wall here into stone. Obviously, there's a bit of texturing work that I need to do. I've kind of started a sample of it over here, where I've got some of this cobblestone, tuff at the bottom, and then this mossy cobble almost in this middle to bottom area, almost as a transition, and also adding in a bit of green on the wall, because it's a swamp. There's going to be green stuff growing on pretty much everything. It's a wet, humid environment. I've added in some fences here. I have made them one block taller than the fences for all of my other enclosures, just because this is a bigger animal. If it wanted to, it could easily crawl over the 2-block fence. Obviously, that's not the case for Minecraft mobs, but I figured in the sense of adding some scale to this animal, I wanted to go with a higher fence. I have obviously kept the little lights to signify, hey, this is a dangerous animal. Don't go in here unless you're properly trained to. Otherwise, you might get hurt. Or worse. This is a very dangerous animal. And I predict I'm going to have a lot of interesting challenges building this enclosure when I hatch them out. I have also done a bit of work under the water as well, adding in the fence under the water. I went with the andesite bars because I think they're a bit of a stronger, sturdier fence than some of this like chain fence, which I think with an animal like the Sarcosuchus, which is going to be at its most powerful in the water, you really need a strong fence under it to prevent it from really jumping and slamming into the fence and then making its way out. I've added in a feeder down here with a Parasaurolophus skeleton as well. I wanted to give like this thing that crocodiles usually do if they don't eat everything. They usually will take their kills down to the bottom of the water and they'll store them down there, which I think Sarcosuchus, while not a crocodile proper, probably would have done, because it is a pretty convergent animal on the crocodile design. So I think it would do this. I had to go with a Parasaurolophus because we don't really have any animals that are close to contemporaries. We don't have anything like Tenontosaurus, which I could use for Ouranosaurus. We don't have any fish skeletons I could use for like Malsonia. So I had to go with this. This is as close as I could get. But maybe I could have gone with like a Diplodocus skeleton for Nigersaurus. But this is what I had. I have to use what I have in the game. What I want to do next is, first off, I want to take this fence back here, beef it up a little bit, and actually add a boardwalk going across the river here. I think that would look really nice and potentially give me access to other areas. Like, I think I don't want this to be the only thing on the river walk, but I want this to be the first attraction along this river boardwalk to give people a reason to come over here. So I think I need to beef up this fence, install the boardwalk, and then obviously guardrails along everywhere. I need the guardrails, so I think I'm going to do that really quickly, and then I'll come back, and then we can actually hatch the Sarcosuchus at that point, because the fence will be secure. The boardwalk is finished. But before I actually talk about the boardwalk, I have something I promised to you before this segment. I promised you I was going to hatch some Sarcosuchus, so I'm going to hatch these Sarcosuchus. But since they take a little while, let's go a little bit. Let's take a step back, look at the boardwalk, and actually take a look at what I actually built for this segment. I have gone with a spruce and Tepskia floor for the boardwalk. I really like how it looks here. I have also gone with dark oak planks, or dark oak stairs, for the edge of the boardwalk, which looks really nice. It gives a nice edge to the whole thing, and it defines the whole boardwalk, and helps define the fence of the enclosure as well. I've also gone ahead and added bars on top, just as like guardrails on both sides, because this is an active river. It is something you don't want people to just accidentally be able to fall into. So safety precautions are a must. I have also gone ahead and broken the bars up every so often with little lampposts here, just to light it up at night, and then just regular posts, just as something to break it up so it's not just solid bars along the whole thing. Gives the viewer's eyes something to actually pay attention to. Little details. Little details make your big builds look much, much better. Cannot say it enough. If you're looking for good ways to become a better builder, you don't have to just be able to make big things, you have to be able to make the big things have small things for people to point out and look at. To make them look real, stand out. That's a big thing. Don't take it from just me, take it from any builder. They will tell you, yeah, you can build a big thing, but it needs to have little details, otherwise it's just gonna look like a square, like a box. Look boring. Yeah. And I also did work on the bridge as well. I also went with the same little style as the boardwalk, except I added a little roof on top. I felt a roofed bridge would look good here, so that's what went here. And I went with the same style as the boardwalk because I felt like I didn't really want to dive. Crocodile noises! Baby crocodile noises! Oh, I love them already! Oh, I love the little laser noises. Oh, you guys are amazing already. No, the problem with these guys is they aren't tame to me. No matter what I do, I can feed him a steak. But that's not going to change anything. He's still not going to be tame to me. Uh-oh. Okay, let's watch them. Let's see if they can actually make their way to the feeder. They're swimming, they're swimming, they're swimming. Can they get out of the water? They need to be able to get out of the water. Uh-oh. Ooh, can I help you guys out? Let me give me some slabs. Let me see if I can. Oh, nope, they made it out all on their own. Perfect. So, I did find out through some testing, the fader in the water doesn't really work. They just bounce off it for some reason. So, guess they're gonna only have the one on the land for now. That kind of stinks. I liked the water feeder, but if they can't make it up on land, or they can't get the one in the water, then there's not much I can do. I just have to go with what works in the mod. Maybe I have to report that bug, that they can't actually access the feeders in the water. And that's probably a good thing to do. If you encounter a bug, please report it. It does help the developers figure out what's actually wrong in the mod. But going back to these guys and their untamed nature. Yeah, they are cute now, but I suspect that once I'm actually putting in the vegetation, they're going to be a big problem. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start by doing some of the vegetation outside the enclosure, get all of that situated, maybe do that in a little bit of a time lapse, and then we can come back and then we can do the fun part of this whole episode that I'm sure many of you have been looking forward to, where I actually have to tame the little suckers. Well, they won't be little when I tame them, they'll be huge. But because they're apexes, you gotta do it this way. So, sit back, enjoy the time lapse, and when we come back, it's crocodile wrestling time. I have finished the exterior landscaping. I am super proud of how it turned out. I have used a lot of the tricks that I have learned from all of the other enclosures and some other builders to really make this feel very swampy, marshy around this enclosure. I have gone ahead and continued the grass replacement with the pods all out here. And then every so often, I have these like little patches of mucky, muddy area just to break up the podzol texture a little bit. I've gone ahead and added in these custom cypress trees. I think they look really good. They look like a variation of those trees because they are. but I think they work really well in this swampy environment, especially with the little mangrove roots, almost creating that little base that you see on some swampier trees. I've gone ahead and added some grass, some leaves, some rocks, some dead bushes, some ferns, all throughout here just to keep that vibe. I've gone ahead and put in the skeleton for a lake creature. And then I have added in more little swampy areas over here with some lilacs, because I like the little splash of pink they add to this area. I think it looks really good. I've done the texture work for outside of the enclosure out here. But now comes the task. The big task that I have to do. I have learned these guys don't hate me. They will not attack me on sight, which is really nice, because I really like that they don't attack me on sight. But I still do need to tame them. So, the first step to taming these guys is going to be getting some scarab gems. I have already gotten a few, but I kind of already used them on my tools. So, and I do have a couple in reserve, but I've seen the previews for future updates, and it looks like we're going to be getting some unique scarab stuff. So I want a few extra. So what I'm going to do is take some of these deep slate fossils here, set them down. I've got half a stack here ready to break. Got another half a stack in my inventory in case we don't get enough. I'm looking for at least 3 scarab gems. Hopefully I can get that. I've got an archaeology and fortune pick, which gives you the best chance of breaking out some scarab gems, and I'm going to just break these and hope I get lucky, which it doesn't look like I'm getting very lucky today. Okay, I got 1. Ooh, okay, another half a stack here to break. I think these fossils here are some of the better ones to use if you're looking for scarab gems, because you get a lot of the shale fossils, and there aren't that many creatures that can come from them. So I think right now, with the lack of creatures, you don't need that many shale fossils. So these fossils are less of a concern to lose a whole bunch of. The other fossils, there's so many dinosaurs in the mod that you just need a ton of them. So you need a ton of fossils in order to get them. Okay, I'll use one of my reserve scarabs alongside all of these relic scraps. Okay, and shale fossils away, even though I need to take them over to the lab. I'll take them over later. But I'm going to take the Dominican amber, which I have gotten from a sifter. If you don't know, you can use the sifter here, which is crafted like this, with any wood, some string, and some iron bars. And take some dirt, some gravel, some sand, some mud, some moss, even, and you can sift it down, and you can get all of these items. But the ones I automatically get from my sifting farm are biofossils, plant fossils, and Dominican amber. It's only a 1% chance, so you kind of got to get lucky. But I've gotten a ton because my sifter is right under the research lab, and right now it's loaded. So I'm pretty good. So I craft these into some aquatic scarab gems, which are what you need in order to tame the Sarcosuchus, because they cannot be tamed with the normal ones. You need the upgraded ones. Switch out my chest plate here, and then let's hop into the enclosure. Okay, which one do I want to fight first? I want to fight you. I'm going to sleep first. I'm actually going to leave the bed down so that I can respawn here. Ooh, I forgot my golden apples, which are going to be so necessary for this. Left those in the yellow box. Grab those as well. Switch those out for that. Do I have any totems? I do have a totem. Cool. I'm actually going to put the totem here, switch the stake out. Put that there. Maybe do that so that I have a more precise tool for hitting them. And let's get in there. Alright, who's first? I think it's you. I think you are going to be the one I go after first. Now, I'm lucky because I have Jade installed and I can see the health. If you don't have that installed, you're probably just going to have to go with this. You're going to have to check every time you hit them. Alright, how's the health? But you need to bring them down to under 8. So I'm going to start some music, and I'm going to get to smacking these things. Ow! Ow! Ow, it hurt. No, I don't want to go in water. Come on. There we go. One down. And let's get this other one. I saw it right over here. Here we are. Get you up on land. Yeah, there we go. There we go. The other one's down. Oh. They hurt a lot. Okay. Cool. They are both owned by me. Awesome. Now I don't have to worry about them losing their mood and all of a sudden deciding to come and hit me. Awesome. Great. Great. But now that they are tamed, I think I can get started on finishing up the interior of the enclosure. I'll see you when I'm finished with that. We can hatch out these last 2 Sarco eggs and finish up the episode. I think the Sarcosuchus enclosure is done. I think this is my best enclosure yet. I love pretty much everything about it. I love the terrain, I love the trees, I love the vegetation, I love the animal that's in here, I love the scale of it, I love how big it is, I love the park features that I've put around it, like the boardwalk. I just love this enclosure, and I really hope that you guys appreciate it just as much as I have. If you do, please let me know. I greatly appreciate that. Another thing I'd really appreciate you guys letting me know is what you would like to name these guys. I have unfortunately hatched out our other 2 Sarcosuchus, But they are in here. The 2 female Sarcosuchus are in the enclosure now, as well as the 2 male Sarcosuchus. So again, if you've got names, let me know. I appreciate them so much. It makes my life a little easier because I'm so terrible with names. But with everything that I've said, I think this episode needs to come to a close. It has been a very long process doing this episode. This enclosure was a lot bigger scale than some of my other ones, and it has really showed in the stress that I've had trying to get this episode done before the deadline that I set for myself. I really hope you appreciate that. And with all that said, take care, have a nice day, bye-bye.